Hey everyone, Miguel Hito of your Cranial Emission Show here. Getting dialed into the show on the interweb and social media, it's a piece of cake. Here's a few ways you can do it. First and foremost, our home base is Spreaker.com. Search the Cranial Emission Show. And on iPhone and Android markets, download the Spreaker app and listen to live or to archive shows right on your phone or tablet. Next, visit our Facebook page under the Cranial Emissions Network, and Twitter @CranialE, YouTube, the Cranial Emissions Show _official. And you can even email us with your questions and comments at thecranialemissionsshow@gmail.com. If you want to be part of the show, you can call in on Friday nights between 7 and 9 Eastern Standard Time at 813-438-6068. Thanks for listening and being part of the growing revolution that is the Cranial Emission Show.
Hello, this is Sancho from the Cranial Emission Show. Our celebrity voices are impersonated by Bang, Caleb, Joe, Jesus, or Miggy. Yes, we keep adding people every time.
Live from the esteemed halls of beer greatness ESB Brewing, 333 Falkenberg Road, Suite D407, in beautiful Tampa, Florida, the Cranial Emission Show, featuring Ben Charles, Miguel Hito, and Caleb Crispy. It's time.
Welcome to another edition, folks, of the Cranial Emission Show. Ben Charles, Miguel Hito, Caleb Crispy, the C-Squared, all hanging out here as we broadcast live from ESB Brewing here in Tampa, Florida, 333 North Falkenberg Road, Suite D.
Sweet D!
407. Come on up here if you want to drink. There are approximately 10 different beers to choose from behind the bar. So go and see the lovely Genevieve to pour you a pint of one of ESB's finest. You want to be a part of the show, you want to call in, you can do it. It's 813-438-6068. And go to cranialemissions.com. Actually, we prefer that you listen through that site, because then that way you can note where you're listening from on the interactive map that we have on the site. So a lot going on with the promotion of the show now. We're actually starting to get our stuff together, which is nice for a change.
We got Miggy back, too.
We did. We got Miggy back.
I'm back.
After a 2-week
Don't sound so sad
hiatus.
about that. I'm back.
He has put down the bar towel. He's no longer bartending on Fridays.
For good.
I
Nice.
will not work on a Friday again.
Nice. Oh, there you go.
Cool.
There you go. So, a retirement party for Miggy.
Yeah, I'm going to work
Tonight.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, and that is it.
Nice.
There you go.
I've given up all my responsibilities because that is what it is.
Congrats.
Well, we're going to start the show the way we do every single week, guys, and that is with the beer call.
I want you to get me fresh beer. You serious?
Now! Hey, sir, you son of a bitch!
It's magical.
It's laughing at me.
I wish I could brush my teeth with it.
I want to put my dick in it. I want it to put its dick in me.
I wish it were winter. We could make it into ice blocks and skate on it, and then melt it in the springtime and drink it.
I still can't not laugh at that.
I still laugh every time he talks about how he wants to put his dick in it.
Yeah.
Is it ever not funny when
No.
someone talks about putting their dick in? I guess it isn't funny if they're talking about putting their dick in you.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, the first beer we're going to have is these are non-ESB beers because we've had most of the ones that are up there, so I've decided to go different this time.
All right.
This one is the Rod Bender Red Ale from Three Daughters. Sorry about that. Here you go.
No, I don't know what happened. Something...
little static.
little static interference there.
Not good.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the Rod Bender Red Ale from Three Daughters. If I'm quite correct, it's about 5%, 5.5%. I didn't look at that. Hey, 5.9%. Hey, it's almost 6. And this is a beautiful red ale. This is a very, very tasty beer, American amber ale style, but a lot of bold flavors, a little caramely, you know.
A little tart too. I like it.
This is a good tasting beer. Three Daughters never seems to disappoint. We were lucky enough to have them on the show in the past after meeting them. at one of the beer events. Actually, I think it was the Pepin Badass Beer Fest.
Yeah, and then
that
they came on the show. Chris and Captain Steve, if I'm quite correct, were the two guys that come on the show.
And it seemed like every single beer that they unveiled was unbelievably good. They do a good job up there. They're out of St. Pete, have a really big facility. I know, Miggy, you've been up there before, right?
Yeah, 18,000 square feet.
No. So go and check out Three Daughters if you're here live in the Tampa area. It's definitely worth the trip. There's that static again.
I don't know what it is. Every time she brings a beer, it's weird.
It's Genevieve. She's
Genevieve. Yeah.
It could be. Remember, we had a little issues with the thingy. It could be the little boxy deal there. So, next beer. Sorry, Ben. Didn't mean to give you less there. I will take the greatest amount because I did buy this beer.
Fair enough.
This is New Belgium. You know the guys who do Fat Tire?
Yeah.
Not Flat Tire, which everybody seems to want to say Flat Tire. This is the Rampant Imperial India Pale Ale. This one is about 8.5%. This one is badass. It's so florally and so tasty.
This is a really good beer.
Citrusy notes in there, and it'll put you on your...
It's much better than their Ranger. Their Ranger's not
the
great.
The Ranger is just a regular IPA. It doesn't have a lot of body to it. This one here is really nice all the way through.
I like that.
It's good beer.
It's a good beer.
Tasty. Nice bite to it. I like the florally bits and the citrusy bits. Hey, David Otero and I did brew the Toasted Walnut Butternut Squash Ale, 20 gallons.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah?
So in about 3 weeks, if not 2 weeks, that should be on tap. And it's going to be about 6.5%. It came out. The color was absolutely stunning. It was a beautiful beer, and we reached our numbers. I mean, everything was awesome. David and I work really good together.
Cool.
And him and I are actually we're gonna be brewing beers for the brew shop and here. So they go over there. We're gonna build recipes and kits and stuff like that. They can actually brew the beers that we're making.
Cool.
And then they can come over here and try some of them. We're gonna take about 3 months to get everything going because Bob and John have been really busy. That cooler is stocked full, so everything is starting to come out now, which is gorgeous.
Nice.
That's good to hear. Yeah. Absolutely. So, well, speaking of beer,
yeah.
yeah.
Sancho's, Sancho's with Lou Bob right now. God knows where.
Oh, God.
Really?
Yeah, I got an email from him yesterday, so I don't know exactly where he's at. He said he's having a blast
Well,
on
good.
Lou Bob's dime.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, see if he stays alive. Researchers at North Carolina State University have found a strain of wild yeast, and they're using to make beer. Typically, they don't use too many wild yeast. They were saying here back in before, beers became more centralized. Back when we had a bunch of independent breweries because you couldn't transport beer.
Right.
That they used a lot of wild yeast, and it happened to be
the Belgians were really big on that because they'd pump their beer up to the roof of the building, and they'd open the roof and let the dew take the natural yeast, and that's how you'd have the Belgian tang.
And that's what they're saying is why they are so different brewery to brewery, because each brewery has its own natural wild yeast. But these guys were able to find a new strain of wild yeast, and they were a little optimistic or a little hesitant to brew beer with it, and they found out that it worked really well. They were able to make sours with it without adding bacteria. They say typically you have to add a bacteria to the yeast to make a sour.
Usually Brettanomyces, there's Rosalie, there's Lactobacillus, a whole bunch of different ones.
But it takes longer, right, to brew a sour when you have to
It could take up to a year or two sometimes. Like Lambics, like Framboise takes almost 2 years to make.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is what makes them more expensive too here. But with this strain of yeast, they were able to brew a sour in 5 days without adding any bacteria.
What?
That's quick.
So it's a Saccharomyces? That's almost like the Brettanomyces. That one that's a dangerous bacteria to use because it eats freaking every single possible thing.
Really?
Yeah.
They said they got good results out of it though, so they're looking to test more.
Forgive me. They thought they were going to get a wild strain of Saccharomyces. That's what they were, but it's something different. That's crazy, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was trying to find
5 days.
5 days. Yeah, where's that at here?
That's an aggressive yeast. 5 days is that's wild, brother. That is wild.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. It might make some big changes, and especially since sours are becoming so big and people are experimenting with them.
Oh yeah,
we'll see how it works.
And the hops too. We get a lot of old hops, and usually if the hops are a year or two old, you can actually use those for the lambics and stuff like that, which is really wild.
Oh wow! Probably because they already have some bacteria. Maybe.
No, it's just the way the hops degenerates in a really good way.
Oh, okay.
It's like aged hops. It's really wild.
In this era of craft beer, you would think that with so many choices, that it would almost compress the price point of beers because you have so many choices, and they're all kind of priced about equally to some extent.
Yeah.
Depending on where you go. But you know, while that may be happening in a marketplace where prices are pretty stable, the one place that they're not stable, and we actually talked about this with John Wilson last week, is at athletic events. Athletic events renowned for how high priced their beers are, and it always seems like they're on the rise from year to year. Well, I've got the list here for 2015 NFL beer prices. Okay, we actually covered this last year, the same type of story. If you had to guess, out of all of the 30 football teams in the NFL, who's got the most expensive beer?
I'm going to go West Coast, either San Francisco or maybe Seattle.
I'm going to say up in New York, maybe Giants, maybe Patriots in Boston area.
Well, this will surprise you. Now,
Coors Field. Sorry, go ahead.
Caleb, you were close. Oakland has the most expensive beer.
Really?
It's $10.75 for 20 ounces of beer. San Fran, though, is number 2, 16 ounces for $10.
Well, you got to think the cost of living there is much higher also, so you
True.
got to kind of go by that.
Yeah, but you mentioned New York, Miggy, and New York's actually, the 2 New York football teams are 2 of the cheapest beers you can get. Both
Really?
12-ounce beers for $5.
Well, one New York team and one Jersey team, if you really want to get waxed.
Well, technically, they both play out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
But they both have 12-ounce beers for $5. They're right there as the lowest, along with Cleveland and with Carolina.
Where does Tampa rank since we're here?
Tampa, a 20-ounce beer will set you back $7.75.
That's not too bad for 20.
It's cheaper than the Lightning Stadium. Shoot, it's
That's
like $9 at the frickin' Lightning Stadium for 20-ounce beer.
That's on par with the $5 for a 12-ounce, really.
Or a foot long.
Well, that's the whole thing, too, is that they actually price this out by the ounce. That's how they judge what was the most expensive beers.
Okay.
Is price per ounce, because it does fluctuate. I mean, you can get beer anywhere from 12 ounces all the way up to 20 ounces, depending on what stadium you're in. But in Tampa, you can get 20-ounce beers. They're $7.75.
That's not too bad.
So you're paying almost $8 for a beer, and God knows when you're watching the Bucks, you need it.
Yeah, well, that's actually was a beer and a quarter, really, if you think about it, compared to a pint.
That's not
too bad.
I mean,
That's not too bad at all, actually.
Not really. That's
surprising.
Not too bad.
Yeah, well, going is expensive enough, though. I mean, it's between the tickets
and the parking
and the overpriced food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what were we talking about? Was it last week we were talking about the fact how expensive it is just for someone? What was we were talking about, like the average price to take a family. I think you and I were talking about that off air.
Oh yeah, it's
like the average price to
man.
take a family is like several $100s now if it's a family of 4 to go to a game.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, even tickets are $30 a piece. That's $120 just for tickets.
$30 for Bucks? Where do you get $30?
I think
tickets?
I think maybe you have to buy season tickets to get that price.
Okay, because
for the cheap seats. But I saw a billboard for it the other day. But yeah, even $50 a piece. That's $200 for a family of 4.
Some of those nosebleeds they're offering for like $35, $40 now, at the Bucks games.
Yeah, so there you go.
And those are single game tickets.
Yeah, that's $140 for 4 tickets.
You know, I had season tickets
plus service charges.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, I had season tickets for the Bucks for years, and what really pissed me off about it was the fact that they force you into also buying the preseason tickets.
That's crazy.
So when you buy,
they force you.
Yeah. So when you buy the season, okay, obviously a season 16 games, right? But you're paying for 10 games, and so my season tickets for one ticket for one seat, what came out to like $670 something bucks because they were like $65 a game.
Yeah.
And then they charge you for the 2 preseason games that nobody wants to go to
and
or cares about.
You can't sell them and get your money back because nobody wants to go.
Yeah, nobody's going to go. I mean, you're lucky if you can give those away.
In this economy?
I know. See, we already started with
Here
it.
we go.
We already started. See, I'm bringing it back, Caleb.
I was just helping you there.
But you got to say it the right way. You got to, hey, in this economy, forget about it. Anyway, you know, Miggy chastised us because last week we actually mentioned Bud Light.
Yeah. No, but you did use your segue out of that was really nice. Or
but
your fall out of that was really nice.
But this is much worse, this story. I mean, you know, as bad as it is that sometimes we were forced to talk about Bud Light, at least we didn't name our son after a domestic beer.
No way, no way, no way.
Exactly.
I'm going to name my nephew something stupid. Rooster McConaughey, the brother of Matthew McConaughey, named his son Miller, L-Y-T-E, Miller Lite, after his favorite beer. Like, that poor child is going to get ridiculed. Probably because he's going to stink, because Matthew McConaughey apparently smells.
I wonder if he's going to be an alcoholic.
I don't know, dude. Like, his brother just looks like straight up